Good afternoon, lovely people. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm bringing you guys a video, and this one is going to be titled Why I Limited My Facebook Usage and why I'm going to be deactivating my Facebook for a while, and also reviving my happiness. So if you guys didn't check out the last video, make sure that you do check that out. I was extremely upset in that video. I know a lot of you guys have not seen that side of me, but I am going to be real and raw. I'm definitely not going to be fake or pretend to be something that I'm not, just for social media likes and comments and subscribers. That's something that I'm definitely not. But that's going to be another video. So I feel like Facebook is the narcissist playground. And the reason for my thinking of that is I have been on Facebook for probably over 10 years. I was one of the people who originally were on Facebook when Facebook was originally only for college students, but eventually they did open up their platform, and Facebook did become a social media platform for not only college students, but also for anyone. Anyone could join Facebook. So anytime I feel like you open up a platform like that to people from all over the world, people who where anybody can get an account, that's when I feel like I started to notice a lot of turmoil on Facebook. Now, I started to experience cyberbullying, I would say, like maybe a year within my relationship. Before I got in my relationship, I really did not experience cyberbullying like that. Like, I may have had some disagreements from time to time, but there was never like any type of moment where I felt disrespected or just felt like I was in a toxic. Okay, back to what I was saying before my camera shut off. But before I got in my relationship and before I started really posting pictures of myself and talking about my personal life, talking about my career and my successes, and venting on Facebook, I really didn't deal with a lot of attacks like that. So I am going to take responsibility and accountability and say that some of it probably could have been my fault, because I did go on Facebook and I decided to vent when I was having bad moments. We all have bad moments. When I was going through issues with family, I took to Facebook thinking that majority of the people on there were my friends, my family, or if they weren't people who aren't my friends, then they probably could care less about what I was saying, because they were either strangers or they were associates or just people, random people who I don't really talk to. Now, that was a big mistake on my part. I really underestimated like the fact that it doesn't matter whether you feel like you are just only talking to your friends and your family and people who you can trust. The internet is not a place where you can trust many people, because you never know who's watching at the end of the day. So you're thinking that you're venting on your social media statuses and you're talking about your opinions and your feelings, and you're specifically targeting those people who you know for a fact care about you and love you. But um on the other side, you could really be feeding information and venting to people who despise you and undercover enemies of yours. So, my big advice would be to stop oversharing on social media. If you need to talk to someone, talk to a trusted friend, family member, a therapist, a counselor, talk to God, especially, but do not go on Facebook telling your business. Do not go on there oversharing your opinion, your feelings, because at the end of the day, you never know who's watching. And it's not to say that you should live in fear, but it's for your safety. And it's also because you don't want to continue to attract toxic people into your life. And trust me, the moment you open up that door and the moment you let people know what your business is, then that's people feel like you're just a target. You're a target, and they feel like nothing is off limits because you told them your business. You fed them your information, which again, you have to take accountability for that. That doesn't give people a right to cyberbully whatsoever. To me, there's never an excuse to cyberbully. And I feel like bullies are weak individuals who are jealous and envious, and they do go after certain people, and they do target, and they do disrespect, and they say a lot of hurtful and hateful things. But also, there are things that we can do to try to avoid being bullied and targeted as much as possible, which is to avoid oversharing and giving too much information to people, especially people who you know that you may not be able to trust all the way. All right, so with that disclaimer, I'm going to give some cons of why I'm limiting my Facebook usage, and I'm also going to give some pros to some of the experience I've had on social media, because I never want to just make it seem like social media is just so negative and bad. There is some positivity to it as well. Um, and I'm going to just give some advice at the end for anybody who may be struggling with social media or who can relate to whatever I'm going to say. So, one of the issues that I noticed with me using social media was the fact that I would constantly check my phone. So, I did go on a hiatus of Facebook. Um, I did limit my interaction along with my posts as well. And within like 2 months, I check it, but I don't go on there often, and I barely post. And I did that just to see if there would be a change in my life. And honestly, you guys, I can say that my life has been so much more positive and calm and peaceful since I've limited my social media interaction and just going on there constantly. So I feel like that was the culprit. Part of the culprit in my life was my social media, was the main thing that was affecting me, and that was really causing me a lot of pain. So anytime you're dealing with something that's causing you a lot of pain and it's hurting you, the best thing for you to do is to limit your usage, because at the end of the day, you have to love yourself enough, take care of yourself, and just do what's best for you mentally, because when it comes to the devil, he'll use anybody he can. He'll use any tool that he can, even something like social media that you think wouldn't be a tool that the Satan can use to destroy you, but he can, and he will use people who you've never met before, people who you probably never talked to attack you through social media, narcissists. He'll also use undercover enemies, frenemies, people who never really liked you to begin with. That comes to social media only to bring you down. So it's like you just have to be very, very careful, because um, there's a saying that I saw on social media that I really liked. If Satan can't get to you, if he feels like he can't attack you personally, then he'll use a narcissist, which is 100% true. And there's narcissists all over social media, and I feel like, especially Facebook, I feel like Facebook is an infestation of narcissistic people. There are some amazing and great people on there, and I have met them. I am going to talk about that towards the end of the video, but social media is very dangerous, and also you can be targeted by predators. You can be targeted by people who obsess and stalk over you, and at the end of the day, it can be very dangerous. So just do not be naive to think that you're untouchable or it can't happen to you. If it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. Anybody can be preyed upon using social media, or attacked, or cyberbullied, you know? So one of the things that I do not like when people have a holier than thou attitude, and they make it seem like their life is just so perfect and they're so untouchable, and they never go through anything, or they never gone through bullying, or they never gone through any type of attacks. Like, those are the type of people to look out for as well, because at the end of the day, we've all gone through something. You may choose to keep your business to yourself. You may choose not to be transparent and to put on a facade. Some people do put on a facade and they pretend like their life is just so happy and they never go through any problems. But there are people like me who choose to be honest and transparent and who want to help other people who've gone through the same thing. And I will never make people feel like they're alone or make them feel like it's their fault or, I'm just so much better than them and, there must be something wrong with them because they're the only person who goes through things. No, we all go through things. Some people are just more honest than others, and some people are more private than others, which is fine, but do not shame other people for what they went through because at the end of the day, we all go through something. Some people, situations may be worse than others, but at the end of the day, no one is better than the next. We should be helping each other. We should be uplifting each other instead of putting each other down and making each other feel like um, that's your problem or, I'm better than you. I'm up here and you're down here. That's definitely not the attitude that any of us should be having, So back to what I was saying. I constantly check my phone and it got to the point where maybe I was a little obsessed with it because it's like I would go like maybe all throughout the day. I'm checking my phone. I'm looking at notifications. I'm looking at comments and likes and scrolling through my timeline and seeing what other people are up to, and I had got a huge following on Facebook because like I said, I've been on there for over 10 years since 2008 and I have close to 5,000 friends, like 1,000 followers, and I'm like thinking to myself, maybe I was just adding people. Like this was at the time when I was in my early 20s, and when people would add me, I would just add them. I really only would go out and add, most of the time I would only really add people who I know. But I would just add any and everybody who added me, and that was like a big mistake because at the end of the day, just think about the probability of that. You're adding close to 5,000 people on Facebook, and there's bound to be some bad apples in there. There's bound to be some envious, jealous, demonic spirits within that bunch because that's just a lot of people to weed through, And that was a mistake on my part. And I know that one of my weaknesses that I can be too friendly. I can be a little naive and sometimes I'll just add people, without thinking twice about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's very dangerous. Like you have to be very careful, use your discernment. So if something is telling you that this person may not be right or something is off about them, you should trust your instinct because usually that's God's way of warning you that you need to be careful and cautious. Try not to add people who you don't know. Now, there is a positive side to that because some of the people that I don't know personally, I've met through Facebook, have been some of the most incredible people that I've ever met in my entire life. Like, they just are beautiful people. Like, even though I don't know them personally, it's just they have just been so encouraging and loving, and I just have connected with them, and I've probably been talking to them on and off Facebook for maybe 3 years or less. But some of the people I've connected on there with have been amazing, like, so I'm not saying it like that, like there's just all bad people on there or adding strangers is just so terrible. Because like I said, I have met some amazing people on there who technically they don't know me personally and I don't know them personally, but they turned out to be really good people. But that's an exception. That's not usually how things play out all the time. So just be very cautious. But yeah, anytime you find yourself constantly checking your phone, that means that you need to step back from social media. You should never be obsessing over anything. Everything should be done in moderation. That's just like watching TV, being with your significant other, being with your friends, being with your family. No one, it should never feel like it's an obsession. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still have to live life at the end of the day. And checking your phone constantly is not you living your life. You're checking your phone and you're not living in that moment. So I do miss those days where before social media, where we would go for walks in the park and we would just live in the moment, call each other on our cell phones more often, call each other from the house phone. I know everybody remembers that. Those moments, I do miss that because we have gotten in the habit where everything is social media, everything is digital. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm even guilty of this, not even picking up a phone and calling my friend and seeing how they're doing, just going through Facebook messaging and liking pictures and commenting and stuff like that, which is great. That's wonderful support. But at the end of the day, that's not picking up a phone and calling somebody and seeing how they're doing? So just be mindful of that. Another thing is oversharing. Do not overshare because at the end of the day, you don't know who's watching you. And like I said, there are narcissists on social media who literally watch you and they stalk you, and they are looking for information. They are looking to find out your business. I'm not saying talking about the people who really are genuinely caring about you and want to know what's going on with you. I'm talking about the people who are literally going through every single post, looking through your pictures, trying to find out what location you're at. It's crazy. Like, you can literally have stalkers on social media watching your every single move and looking for a moment to attack you, looking for a moment for you to slip up and say the wrong thing. And then before you know it, you're arguing with somebody. That was very toxic for me. I would be on there. Well, I would leave a comment. I would put my opinion on my social media feed, and I would have people arguing with me. Like, for instance, I chose to relax my hair after my father passed away. I was natural for like 6 years, I believe. And when my father passed away, it was like I was just so hurt. You know what I'm saying? I did share that with some of my social media friends, and I chose to relax my hair because at the end of the day, I didn't feel like dealing with it. Like, it's a lot. Relaxed hair can be a lot to handle. And then that was just my way of taking my pain out on something. As you can see, you guys, my hair is texturized right now, and I know that there is a natural hair movement where, some people just go crazy over it and they just feel like we shouldn't be wearing any type of chemicals in our hair, which is fine if that's what your belief is. But who are you to attack me? Like, I had a group of women from high school attacking me just because I chose to relax my hair. That is crazy. Like, you're literally bullying me over what I'm choosing to do with my hair, with when it's my choice and it's growing from my body. Like, petty stuff like that is the reason why I feel like Facebook is so toxic. You can just post the most simplest thing and you will have people, it's okay to give your opinion. I'm not trying to say not to. That's fine. I'm welcome to different opinions because I'm not that type of person, especially if I feel like you're genuine and you're just trying to help me, I will take your opinion. But if your opinion is you calling me out of my name and just being disgusting and nasty and just rude, then that's when I have an issue. And I feel like it just brings the worst out of people. And but a pro is that it does expose people. So it exposes those undercover enemies. It exposes those people who are envious of you, those people with those narcissistic tendencies. Because honestly, I would have never thought that these women didn't like me. I would have never thought that they had anything personal against me because they're not my friends. They're not in my radar. Like, I don't have that connection with them. When I seen them in high school, it would be high and by. I don't even think I held a conversation with majority of these people who attacked me on Facebook. So it's just very odd the fact that you feel so comfortable enough to attack me on a personal level. So that's how you know that some people are just flat out envious. And when I had a chance to really think about it, in high school, I was extremely nerdy. Like, I wore big glasses. I was a part of the dance team and everything. I was active. I did track and field. I mean, sorry, cross country. I was a part of ROTC, and again, I was a dancer. But when I think about it, I was still extremely nerdy and I was not really a part of the popular crowd. Some people may think I was, Some people may say I was, but I really don't feel like I was. I always feel like I was just kind of like a loner, and I had like a couple of group of friends, close friends that I was cool with, but I never try to fit in with the popular people because I'm just one of those people where I'm just not that much of a follower. Like I rather stand out and do my own thing. But in high school, they never really picked on me, I guess because I wasn't really much of a threat. Again, I was super nerdy. I was like, I'm a Christian girl going to church and to school, church and to school like a good girl. I wasn't really into a lot of the things like makeup or dressing up like that, fashion. So I think when a lot of people seen me, they seen me at the college reunion, the 10-year reunion, then they see me on Facebook. They see how beautiful I am. Not saying I wasn't beautiful before, but I definitely did glow up as far as my fashion. Like, who doesn't? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be the same that you were when you were a teenager. So, my looks, I'm very beautiful. I have a relationship, nice relationship. I'm very successful. I have my bachelor's degree, elementary education, minor in special education. I work in the teaching industry. Started my own business, candle business, and YouTube. So I just have a lot of positive things going for myself. So when people saw that, maybe they had a failed relationship. Maybe they didn't feel as pretty as I was. So their answer was to attack me. So I'm trying to tell you, just be careful because, again, everybody who's on social media is not writing for you like you think they are. Some people really are waiting to see you fail, and they really are only keeping up with you because they're envious. They're competing with you. That's another thing. People who overly compete with you through social media. You'll have undercover haters and you'll have people competing with you who you barely even know exists. Like, it's crazy. Like, do you even know my middle name? Like, you should be in competition with yourself. There should never be a reason why you should be competing with another woman. That's crazy to me. Now, is it normal from time to time to get jealous? We all get jealous when we see somebody with who we may feel have more than we have, or who we feel may have this and may have that more than we do. Okay, yeah, that can be a normal human reaction. But when it gets to the point where you're attacking a person, you're obsessing over them, you're stalking them, you're being verbally and mentally and emotionally abusive, that's when you really need to take a step back and look at yourself and be like, you know what? I need to do some work on myself. I really need to love myself more because it should never get to that point where you feel that envious, you feel that threatened over what another person looks like, over what another person relationship is, or over whether what another person is doing in their life. Like, that's really pathetic. So, we got to do better. Okay? Okay, another thing that I had issues with on social media, like I said, I would be overly friendly and overly trusting. So I would add people, when they show the recommended people you should add. I would add people from work, from my former job that I'm no longer at. Or I would add people who I thought I was cool with at work. One of the things you got to be careful with is coworkers, fake coworkers. Some of these coworkers who are overly friendly are really fake. Some of them, not all, because I do have coworkers who I'm friends with who show me nothing but love. But I'm talking about the ones who are overly friendly and fake. They could be envious over you and you may not even know it. And you done added a whole enemy to your Facebook. And the next thing you know, somebody's attacking you. Somebody's attacking your relationship. Maybe they wanted your man for themselves, but they see you with that man. It's crazy. Or maybe they was always envious of you, and they took the moment to go on your social media and attack you because they didn't have the courage to do it to you in person. That has happened to me as well. People who I thought I was cool with, or even if I wasn't that close with them, I never had any issues with them. I would see them around. I would always be hi. I would always say hi because one thing about my personality is that I'm a very friendly person usually. I mean, I'm introverted, but I'm also friendly. You know what I'm saying? So be careful, because sometimes those people don't really like you. Even though they're following you on social media, they added you to Facebook. Don't get it twisted. Some people don't like you like that, like you think they do. They could just be following you because they're waiting on the opportunity to attack you, or they're secretly envious and competing with you. Like, I've had people attack me on Facebook, and I'm like, what? I thought we were cool. Like, I'm not saying we're friends. Like, I invite you to my home, or I invite you, you invite me to your home. I'm not saying it like that, like we're just buddy buddy or best of friends, but I thought we had enough respect for each other to where we wouldn't get on Facebook and clown each other. Like, we wouldn't get on Facebook and disrespect each other, you know? But it's like, you just never know. Facebook can really reveal a lot of undercover enemies, which again, it can be a pro, because at least you know who your enemies are once they come out and attack you, but it can also be very draining on your mental health, and it could just be draining on your spirit, because who really wants to go on social media and argue with a bunch of people over nothing? Like a relaxer, that was just so stupid. Like, you guys don't have a life. You're not happy with your life. You're not happy with yourself if you're sitting back here arguing over petty stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just so stupid. You know, then I would want to say, like, people from high school, people from college, fake co-workers, even strangers. It's crazy. Like, people who never really liked you see you glowing up, and they have an issue with that. Then it's like I'm constantly having to block people left and right. I probably got, like, I ain't gonna tell how many people I got on my block list, but I probably got a nice amount of people on my block list, and that's toxic. Like, who wants to be on an app where you constantly have to keep blocking people? And I'm not blocking people for having an opinion on my post. I'm not blocking people for disagreeing with me. I'm blocking you for disrespecting me. So that's one of the indication that a person is envious of you. You can disagree with someone without disrespecting them. You don't have to call them a name. You don't have to bully them. You can just move on. If you don't agree with them, you can scroll past it, or you can give your opinion without disrespecting them. The fact that some of you guys stoop so low and just go for people's jugular, or just say some of the most harsh things to them when you disagree with them, you're showing your hatred. You're showing the evil inside of you. You're showing your ugly side, because it doesn't take all that. You can disagree with someone without going that hard on them, and without just saying some horrible things to them. Like, you guys wouldn't believe some of the horrible things that people have said to me. It's been crazy. Like, I'm like, wow, social media have really exposed people's demons, you know? People are out here with all these demons inside of them who need to be delivered. And when they see somebody who has light within them, when they see a bright person who has a bright future ahead of them, they're going to try to do everything in their power to destroy you, because they're working for Satan. They have these demons inside of them that need to come out and attack you, you know? So just be very careful and stay prayed up, and use your discernment. If you get a feeling in your heart that something is not right with the person, the best thing for you to do is to block them or just unfriend them. Okay. Then, like I said, you got to deal with people watching your every move, your every word, monitoring you like you're a child. It's crazy. Like, and then majority of the time it's coming from people with kids. So you have a child of your own that you gave birth to. I'm not your child. Like, we have no relation to each other. So who are you to come on my Facebook and tell me what I need not to say, or what I should be saying? Like, who are you to try to run me? You should be worrying about yourself, and you should be focusing on being a parent to your kid, because I'm not your kid at the end of the day. Like, it's crazy that people feel like that social media has made people so bold to get out and say whatever they want to say to you, and then when you react to them and the reaction is not positive, that's when they play the victim. And that's what narcissists do. They play the victim very well, and they want to pretend like you're the bad guy. But if you come at me sideways and you're disrespecting me, I have a right to defend myself. Like, at that point, all bets are off. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want a negative reaction, the best thing for you to do is to not be negative. Don't put out negativity if you don't want negativity back, because you can't expect to be negative towards somebody and attack somebody and then for them to sit there and be like, hey, Vesty, thank you so much for that comment. I appreciate your negativity. Like, that's just not how life works, you know? So be cautious of that. You have some people obsessing over you and waiting on your failure. So they're checking your social media every hour of the day. I could be exaggerating. Seeing what you post, seeing what pictures you posted, seeing where you are, and they are waiting on your failure. They're waiting for something bad to happen so that, and they're getting information from you. Sometimes it's you that's feeding them information. So again, accountability is perfect. It's great to take accountability, but they're obsessing over you. They're trying to find out your business. They want to know your personal life, and they're trying to collect information so they can use it to hurt you. So some people do that a lot. When you say something that they don't like, they'll turn around and use something that you went through. You could have forgot that you even went through it, or it could have been a couple of months ago and you've moved on from it, and they'll turn around and throw it in your face. That's what narcissists are good for. Do not tell a narcissist any of your business, because they will use everything that you tell them about you. They will use it against you, and they will use it as a knife to stab you in the back. So be very careful and cautious what you're posting on social media, because you may not think you have people obsessing, you may not think you have stalkers, but you may have. You never know. Like me, for instance, I'm not a celebrity. I'm just an ordinary woman. You know, I used to do a lot of things. I sing, I act, like, so I'm not saying that I'm just a nobody. And I know that in high school, I was very active. In college, I did like 5 plays. I was very active in college, and I was very friendly, but I'm far from a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? But it's like sometimes I get treated like a celebrity. I get obsessed over. I have people stalking me, so, and the same thing can happen to you, even if you aren't a very active person, even if you are very introverted into yourself. Somebody could be obsessing and stalking you because you're beautiful and you look good and you post nice pictures, or because you have a nice relationship, you got a good husband, you got a beautiful family, beautiful kids, you know what I'm saying? Or you could be a doctor, you could be a nurse, you could be a teacher, a lawyer, like have a successful career, and they're hating on you and they're jealous of you. They're jealous of everything that you are. So you definitely got to be careful. Do not underestimate yourself at all. Don't underestimate your power, because if someone is obsessing and stalking over you, then obviously you're powerful. You're more powerful than you give yourself credit for. So just don't be naive enough to think that you don't have people checking for you like that, because you just never know. Another thing, you can take on their negative energy. So when somebody leaves a negative comment attacking you, you could be having a good day and you could be in like the best of mood. Hi, everybody. Like me, when I'm happy, I'm very cheery, I'm very bubbly. I've heard that about myself over and over again, that I have a very bubbly personality. Um, but I also have my down moments. I'm not perfect every single day. It's not perky and cheery and hello everyone, how you doing? That's fake, you know. But you have judgmental people. So when you post your moments where you're not so happy, you can be posting a bunch of positive stuff, because I'm not a negative person where I just post all negative things. I'll post positive quotes, I'll post self affirmations, things about God, but those things get overlooked. Anything positive sometimes it gets overlooked. There may be like one or two, three people who always support me, who show love on it, you know. But at the end of the day, the moment you go through something negative, or the moment you are having a bad day and you go on social media to vent, or post it, don't do that, because you're going to be faced by judgmental people who probably never really liked you. They were probably undercover enemies, fake friends of yours, and they see that you're going through something, or they see that you have a moment of vulnerability, or a moment where things are not going so well in your life. They will use it against you, and they will attack you. So be very careful of what you post on there. My advice would be to just leave it as positive quotes. Memes are okay, like funny memes, pictures, but even that you have to limit it, because you do have jealous people. So just try to limit it as much as possible with your relationship. Try to keep your relationship private. Maybe post things every now and then, pictures of you guys, but just be very cautious, because at the end of the day, everybody's intentions are not good. Some people really do have bad intentions. Um, like I said, Facebook is a narcissistic playground. So you will face people who will gaslight you. So they'll try to make it seem like you're crazy. They'll try to make it seem like something is wrong with you. They will abuse you mentally and emotionally. And before you know it, you're constantly questioning yourself. Am I crazy? Is something wrong with me? Um, because that's them abusing you. That's them gaslighting you and making you feel that way, instead of coming from a place of compassion. Be like, you know what? You had a bad day at work. We all go through those days. I hope you have a better day. That's all it takes, is just to have some compassion and empathy. But narcissists don't have that. And we live in a world full of narcissists. We live in a world full of evil, and we live in a world where there's like not really people who have compassion and empathy for anybody's situations. It's not until something happens to somebody, then that's when everybody want to get on Facebook and be fake. Some of them, not everybody, let me not say everybody, but some people want to get on Facebook and be fake and act like they really care, when 9 times out of 10 that person probably been reaching out for help, or been trying to vent and tell you some of the things that was going on with them. But because you guys are so judgmental and you like to use people's information against them, they felt like they didn't have nobody to trust or nobody to open up to. So don't, if you are a victim of narcissistic abuse, or you've gone through domestic abuse, or you've gone through bullying, be very cautious when it comes to social media, because people can sense it when you've gone through stuff. When you're, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say a victim, but when you've gone through, because I don't like that word, but when you've gone through stuff in your life, people can kind of tell, and they can pick up on that. But at the same time, that can also draw more abusers into your life. That can draw more narcissistic people in your life. And before you know it, you're just like a huge wreck. You guys see me in my other video where it's like I really had to take some time off from social media, because people were purposely attacking me. They've been doing it on and off for 5 years, purposely provoking me, because they see I'm beautiful, they see I'm successful, and I'm doing very well for myself. I got a good head on my shoulder, and I'm an overall great person. So they want to provoke me. They want to bring the worst out of me. They want to see the worst in you. Some people want to see you go there. They want to provoke you, and they want to see you step out of your character, because maybe they're envious of the way other people love you. It could be multiple things. They want to see you upset. They want to dim your light. Do not fall for that trap. If you have to block them, try not to react to them. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do or what to feel, because that would be hypocritical of me for me to tell you not to clap back, because I have done it and I will do it if I feel like I need to. But try not to react to them because that's what they want. These narcissists, they provoke you on purpose and they attack you on purpose because they are looking for a reaction. That way they can gaslight you. They can go smear you to their families. They can go smear you to your friends, your family members. And before you know it, you got an army of people and flying monkeys who turn against you, who don't like you, who want nothing to do with you. And it's all because you trusted in the wrong people, and then they are using your information against you. They're using your vulnerable moments, they're using your down moments, and they are using that to justify their hatred for you or to justify their mistreatment for you. They're using that to try to make it seem like you're crazy or you got issues, and they're going to use that as an excuse as to why they treat you the way they treat you. So be very careful because, again, these narcissists are on Facebook, they're on social media, on these platforms looking for supply. They're looking for somebody to target. And if you're feeding them information about you, it's like you're making it too easy for them. You know what I'm saying? That's just like standing in the lion's den and expecting a lion not to eat you. Like, come on. At the end of the day, the lion is going to eat you if you're standing in the lion's den, unless you're praying to God, and God, of course, is going to be on your side. But you get the point that I'm making. Like, why give people information? Why feed them your business or your weaknesses and your vulnerable moments so they can turn around and use it to hurt you? So just be careful. Love yourself enough to protect your spirit. That's why I'm choosing to deactivate my Facebook for a little while. And I'm choosing to limit my interaction with Facebook and just posting in general because I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing self-love over everything, happiness and peace, because people are looking to bring me down on purpose. And I caught on to what was happening, that it's like Satan is using Facebook to sabotage me. Satan is using Facebook to try to make me depressed and anxious so that I won't fulfill the purpose that God has over my life. You have to outsmart him at the end of the day. So if that's what he's using Facebook for, if that's what he's using social media to hurt me and to harm me, then I'm going to be very cautious when utilizing it, because at the end of the day, I am not going to allow Satan to affect me to the point where I'm depressed or I'm sad and I'm constantly being bullied left and right. Like, at some point, yes, God will fight our battles and he will help us, but you also have to fight. You also have to be fighting along with God. Like, you got to be neck and neck. So don't give them information if you don't have to. Don't give them a weapon. Don't give them a knife to stab you in the back. Give them nothing, like, or gray rock. Give them the bare minimum. If you absolutely have to post something to keep your family and friends updated, post a little picture here and there, post a little update here and there, a little positive quote here and there, but do not get to the point where, like, you're like me, because I'm very expressive, I'm very opinionated, and when I write, it's kind of like poetry to me. Like, I've always been a writer ever since I was a little girl. And that's why I'm writing a children's book and I'm writing my own book, because I just love writing. I love reading. But at the end of the day, sometimes I overshare. So I over explain. I put too much information. You know what I'm saying? And that can actually work against you. So be very mindful of that, because the more information you feed these people, they're going to use that to run a smear campaign against you. I told you she was crazy. Oh, I told you she was controlling. Oh, I told you she was this. I told you she was that. That's what they want. They want to use whatever information they can against you, to turn people against you. Okay. So let's see, what else do I have here? I said, do not vent on social media. I explained that to you guys. Um, don't post about your struggles. Don't post about your bad moments. They will use it against you and they will cyberbully you. It can happen to anybody. Stop oversharing. And Just be careful, because there are people on there who will gaslight you, and there are people who will make you feel like you're alone, or like they never go through anything and they're like the perfect person, and they will use your vulnerabilities and your weak moments against you. Okay? They do not like people. That's another reason why I decided to take a step back from Facebook, because I'm putting my energy into a lot of people who do not value my opinion, who don't value my intelligence, my knowledge, my experiences. Some people do value me, so I'm not talking about you guys who do support me, but I'm talking about the ones who don't value me. Like, what is the point of me pouring into something that I'm not getting anything out of except for negativity from time to time? I may have a couple of people who support me and who show me love, and I show them love in return, but it was like the hate was outweighing the good. The bad was outweighing the good. So anytime it's something toxic like that in your life, where you're pouring into someone or something, it could be anything, and you're not receiving positivity back, you're not receiving that, thank you, girl, for giving me this information. Anytime I speak with a purpose. So if I'm talking about an experience of mine, or if I'm giving knowledge, I'm not just talking about it for my health because I have nothing better to do. When I was writing posts on Facebook, I was writing it on there to help people who may have been in the same situation that I was in, but most of the time it would backfire. Every now and then I would have those people that would be like, thank you, we appreciate you, I can totally relate to you. I get you, but most of the time it's like people don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. They rather be blind. They rather be sheep. So it's like beating a dead horse. Why give in? Why continue to pour into people who don't appreciate what you have to say? That's why I came to YouTube, because I'm like, at least with my YouTube, 98% of my YouTube has been people who have supported me, people who have said, your content has really helped me, and they actually value my opinion. They appreciate the fact that I'm knowledgeable. They like the fact that I'm sharing my experiences. On Facebook, it would be people complaining, why are you posting this? Why are you posting that? Why are you sharing this? Why are you sharing that? You know what? Say less. Because at the end of the day, I am not going to water myself down for anybody. Clearly, you're not on my level mentally. Clearly, we're not here. We're not on the same wavelength. We're not on the same vibration. So I'd rather go to YouTube and help out domestic violence survivors, help out people who are currently in domestic violence situations, help out victims of narcissistic abuse, victims of bullying, cyberbullying, stalking. That's who I'd rather give my energy to, the people who actually appreciate me, you know? So on the bright side of things on social media, you do come across some of the most amazing people, you guys. Like, I literally just told someone on Facebook, a couple of people on Facebook, like, you guys are amazing. Like, we need more people in the world like you, because you're always encouraging. You're always positive. Even when they do see me going through something, they're not kicking me down. Like, or if they're giving constructive criticism, it's in a loving way. That's how life should be, but that would be too much like right. We don't live in a perfect world, but there are some amazing people out there. So if you are that type of person who pour into other people, and you're constantly giving positivity, and you're constantly uplifting people, thank you. And we definitely need more people in the world like you, because it doesn't cost anything to be a decent human being. It doesn't cost anything to have compassion and empathy for another person's situation, even if it's not you, even if you didn't go through it, even if you haven't gone through abuse, even if you just, you know what I'm saying, like, you've barely had to go through a lot of woes in your life. It still doesn't take much to show compassion and empathy towards somebody who did go through it. You know what I'm saying? And by you uplifting that person, and by you saying, like, look, you're not alone. I understand. I've been there too. That, you never know what type of impact that can make inside somebody's life. Sometimes that's all a person needs, is someone to encourage them. And that's why I decided to do YouTube. I decided to do YouTube not for selfish reasons, but to help people who were just like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't, at the end of the day, I didn't have to put myself out here at all, because I know this is an evil world that we're in, and I know I had to prepare myself that I will come across a troll or two. But at the end of the day, me putting my experiences out there, if that was to help one person, if that was to save one person from going through the pain that I had to endure, then that's what I was willing to do. But I've realized that Facebook was not the platform for me to do it on. So that's why I came to YouTube, because Facebook was full of ignorance. It was full of holier than thou people who just felt like they were so much better, and felt like they didn't need my advice, and felt like they just had perfect lives, which is not realistic. I want to be honest. I want to be transparent. I want to be truthful. And I want to tell people, like, look, even people with pretty faces, even people who you think have it all, and who you feel everything was handed to them and they didn't go through anything. I went through things too. I have scars too. I just wear them well. So it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be a survivor. It's okay to look out for other people, and to help other people, and to help them realize, like, look, you're not alone. We need to get back to taking walks in the park, going to see nature, going on hikes, taking a bike ride, going to the museums, going out to eat, going to a ball game. You guys name it. Going ice skating. What else? Going shopping with each other, just hanging out with friends, laughing, good, happy moments. Um, just meditating and giving those affirmations to each other, pouring into each other, talking about God, talking about positivity, and just being more at peace and calm with life. Like, social media has done a lot of damage. It's done some good, but it's done a lot of damage to our society. And I'm just gonna pray. Like, I really wish that we could just get back to being a more calm and peaceful society, where we're not just so judgmental towards each other. We're not so hateful and just negative and spiteful, like, leave the envy at the door, and just have more compassion, and just be a better person. So, with me being on and off Facebook for 2 months, I do notice a huge change in my life. I'm not saying that my life is perfect, because I still deal with jealousy from women. I'm always going to deal with that, because at the end of the day, I'm beautiful, and that just comes with the territory. But I would say that it's not as frequent. I'm not dealing with a lot of attacks. Like, with Facebook, it was like every other week it was some type of attack from someone. So since I've been on Facebook, I noticed that my life has changed for the better. I noticed that I've felt a lot less anxious. So maybe that was the culprit. I've just felt 1,000% like I'm getting back to myself, the happy-go-lucky, the bubbly, happy person that I was, not being so anxious and worrying about who's going to attack me next for my opinion, who's going to attack me next for bringing awareness to domestic violence, for bringing awareness to narcissistic abuse. Like, I don't have to deal with that. Now, I will say, I'm going to take accountability for some of the things that I did mess up on when it came to social media. I would confront people on there. Like, it got to the point in my life where I just didn't care, because I know you guys are watching my social media. I know I have enemies. I know I have haters following me. So I'm like, why not give them a show? Why not call them out for the fact that they're watching and stalking my page, and they really don't like me? You know what I'm saying? Purposely not supporting me, purposely not liking my pictures, but yet you can call my fiance and tell him everything I done post and said. Like, just hating, looking for a reason to hate. But at the end of the day, that's not the right thing to do either, because it's best to take the high road. Don't stoop to their level at the end of the day. Like, if they go low, you go high. So that's the best advice that I can give as well. It's easy to get petty. It's easy to get on there and to want to defend yourself every other week. But at the end of the day, all they're going to do is use that against you, and use it to gaslight you so they can make you seem crazy. So talk to a therapist, talk to a counselor, talk to your significant other, talk to your family, do whatever you have to do, but do not go to Facebook and post your business, and do not vent on Facebook. All right, you guys. I did a lot of talking on this video. I'm very passionate about this topic. So if you guys want to see more of these type of videos, make sure you leave a comment below. I love reading you guys' comments, and I love when you guys give me feedback. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. And you guys will all be in my prayers. I hope everyone has a blessed and wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.